Yeah, so I mean the biggest obstacle straight from the get-go was packaging 29-inch wheels in a 6-inch travel front and rear chassis, Enduro chassis, and still getting a bike that rides like what we would call an Enduro and captures that experience. And really, really difficult to do. And in fact, I mean, as an industry, really, it's been something that most people have said can't be done, and therefore it really hasn't been done. I mean, there are some 130, 140 mil 6-inch bikes are fairly common, but this guy has a little over 150 in the rear and a 150 fork on the front. So for that combination, and then to keep the wheelbase nice and tight and the chain stays nice and tight, it was very difficult. So unlike the 26, we really had to be really mindful with all the proportions and all the dimensions on things like the chain stays, the seat stays, the shape of the seat tube and how that curves, to accommodate the big wheel, and just all these little things that really aren't as big of an issue on a smaller wheeled bike. On this bike, everything had to be really, really, truly optimized to be able to fit all of this into one package. The Taco Blade is a pretty ingenious solution, if I may say so, that our engineers came up with to be able to mount a front derailleur on a 6-inch chassis with a 29-inch wheel and still keep the chainstay length only 6 millimeters longer than on a comparable 26-inch wheel of the same bike. And basically it's a formed aluminum mount that bolts to the main pivot and then to the stay itself, and allows a mid-mount front derailleur to attach to it, and it's fully removable. So for people running a one-by, you have no front derailleur mount whatsoever. It's real nice and flush and clean and lighter weight. And then if you want to run a front derailleur, you bolt this on and you get the best of both worlds. We've had really good luck with the Cane Creek on the rear and love the way it felt, and the double barrel air has been amazing. Super tunable, which is why we spec it. It's the kind of shock that, sometimes it's for some people it's a little daunting to set up, but for the user that kind of buys the S-Works bike and really likes setup, when you get this thing set up for you, there's nothing like it. And then, the Fox Fork as well, it's in this category, they've really proven to be kind of the leader, and stiffness and adjustability and the Talus feature and the CTD feature. These are all the things that really apply to an enduro rider.
And this knob is exclusive to the Specialized bike?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little adjustment knob on the low-speed compression on the double barrel, which isn't quite a lockout or maybe like a pro pedal per se, but it's a similar solution, and it just allowed us to take kind of what was already there, and instead of having to give the user an on-the-fly solution that could firm up the low-speed compression damping for climbing. Yeah, I mean, on the front triangle, it makes the most sense. There's so much more material that there's a lot more weight to be saved. And on the rear, especially on the 29er, with the tolerances being so tight, aluminum allowed us to kind of do that. Some of the bikes, particularly like the Epics and things, we do have carbon rear ends on some of them. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. We always kind of look at it and see what the weight savings are, what the engineering obstacles are, and decide which one works best. And in this application, the aluminum rear end made the most sense. This bike does come with that, yeah, and in fact it's really clean because there's no cable boss for the external routing. So the new Command Post IR, which will come on the production version of this, goes down the down tube, underneath the bottom bracket, it pops into the frame and goes straight up the bottom of the seat tube. It's actuated directly out of the bottom of the seat post, so it's super flush, super clean. A couple benefits to that. I mean, obviously, besides the fact that it looks really, really nice, the cable doesn't slide up and down, so there's less of an issue there. And we also were able to put the air valve where the cable hooks in currently, so you can adjust the air pressure externally. It's right here.
Oh, that's right.
On the new one. And then we redesigned the head as well it's still a 1-bolt design, but the way that it's redesigned is not only a lighter, simpler design, but it also resists moving like the current one has had a little bit of an issue with. So it's a much better, refined version of the Command Post we've all come to love.